Good morning, Victor.
Good morning, Michael.
How's it going?
It's a little too early for me.
Well,
I'm just
we're
joking.
here to do it.
It's a whole 11.
Welcome to yet another episode on Beyond Conversation. Dude, how have you been? It's been a few weeks since we've recorded because we have a couple of we have some content.
I need the occasional vacation, you know. No,
From who? From what?
No, it's just these kids, man. It's so difficult to make a podcast, and then you forget things.
Kids? How many kids
the
do you
wife
have?
starts screaming.
Remember you were like giving me like shit for not
Yeah,
having
I
kids,
know,
and
yeah.
now you have kids, and you're now this is what I want to
This
avoid.
is what it is, yeah. I mean, my back hurts, so
From
my
from
lower
what?
back hurts. But actually, that's from working out. But I'm just explaining how I feel right now. so.
Yeah, no, that looks it, dude. You look good.
Thank you. Likewise. I mean, that goes without saying. We get comments all the time. Well, I mean, there's people who message me on Facebook saying, "Oh, Michael looks hot, bro." And
really?
it was a dude. Yeah,
Who?
he's straight.
Drop their name. I'm
Lem-
kidding.
Lemos.
No. Beep. I don't want to get anybody in trouble.
Well, I said it.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
bleeped.
Okay.
So, he said that.
No, that's good. Our
And-
last video, we look good. Like,
Yeah, we did.
they
It's
think
upholstery.
that there's no light. It's just one lamp. That's
it's
it.
one lamp,
Nothing else.
and the LED is just my light fixture.
Yeah, and the quality of the camera
Yeah.
and all the filters you use. But other than that, it's all natural.
Yes, it's all natural. No makeup.
No
No
make-
hair.
Well,
Michael
yeah.
goes to the back and like sprays.
Well, I have the glam squad. A little freshen up.
Yeah, I
little
know.
touch up.
You got the little chair outside right before you come in. They do the thing, and I'm like, damn. How's he paying for that? We haven't
Dude.
made a cent.
Well, quick little history. Both our moms are hairstylists.
Yes.
So I grew
forgot
up
about that.
naturally like knowing like how to take care of yourself because presentation matters.
Yeah, it
So to me, that's why I'm always like trying to look fresh.
Yes, I mean that goes a long way. I know a lot of people have like kind of a weird taboo about like using hairspray, and I mean now it's getting more like normalized, hairspray and gel and all that. But I know back when we were growing up, that was a big dude. That's so weird. Why are you doing that, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, I gotta look good, bro.
Do you remember though when we were like in school, we always had like our haircut. We always looking fresh. We always had different styles. We always had the highlight. Like we were
Remember
always
the
like,
highlights, yeah.
in like before our time.
It was
And
no
then people-
cost.
no cost.
We were training dummies for our mothers.
Oh yeah, dude. When my mom was first like studying to be a beautician or a cosmetologist, she would like practice cutting hair on me, and I'm like, go for it. I really didn't care. My hair's always been kind of good, and it grows back really quick. But
Yeah.
she always experimented on me.
Since you were young, you were down. You didn't care.
Yeah, I didn't care. I didn't care.
Oh, that's
I've always
cool.
been. Yeah, I feel like you've had the same haircut
don't.
for a very
I'm a
very
comfortable
long
man
time.
right now.
Dude, I've had shaggy hair. I have curly hair.
Yeah, I've
done
seen it.
Permed. I've done.
But you have
flat.
a lot of like flexibility with it, dude. It looks like legit. For
Dude,
me, it looks like a penguin after a while, dude. I don't,
Dude,
and
I
look
know
ugly.
you've had the same haircut forever, right?
I don't know. I was gonna get called out.
No, no. I'm just saying, like you're
Okay,
consistent.
Yeah, I know.
You're
I'm trying
consistent.
to be. No, it's not that. It's just that I don't know what else to do with it.
Right. Hey, well, speaking of appearances.
Yeah. Okay.
Today's topic.
Oh, that was smooth.
Yeah.
Did you plan this?
Not at all.
There's like notes and spark notes.
Victor's
Mention-
gonna talk for 10 minutes. You're gonna talk about his haircut.
Make
and
make
then you're
yeah
gonna make a
consistency. Make sure you say that to make him feel good.
No, today's topic is interesting because it has to do with appearance and presentation. So I wanted to discuss body dysmorphia, and I'll give you a quick definition.
Okay.
According to AI. Just kidding.
No
Google.
way. You're learning. No, I'm like,
Body dysmorphia is a mental health condition where a person spends a lot of time worrying about flaws in their appearance. These flaws are often unnoticeable to others. People of any age can have BDD, which is body dysmorphia disorder, but we're talking more about the mental of it and like general, not the actual disorder, just so you wouldn't have to go into it. But it's most common in teenagers and young adults. That's kind of what the definition was.
yeah.
What are your thoughts on body dysmorphia?
It's a psychological issue. It's obviously goes off of what your expectations are and how unreasonable they are. I've gone through it, but I've been fortunate enough to kind of realize the base issues with it. And the base issues is that one, you're having expectations that are unrealistic, and two, you have to understand that satisfaction is an unrelentless kind of chase. It will never die down. You will try to go for it, and it will keep evading you. It will keep eluding you. So the more you look for that, it's only going to get even. You're basically digging yourself into a deeper hole with that. So, I mean, it starts with a long talk with those people, right? Like about how to fix it. That's basically my summary of that.
That's a good one. That's a really good summary. I mean, a lot of it makes sense, and I love that you touched on almost like an aspiration, but like it's a never-ending aspiration. It's a never-ending goal because there's always going to be like imperfection, and our body is always evolving as we're getting older. So you're chasing something, but like it's almost like sucking. It's like quicksand. Like you're being sucked in. Like it's not solid. Like you're going to keep sinking.
You can't ever satisfy yourself. You're trying to go for perfection, and perfection is I would say unattainable. You know, wouldn't you? I mean, there's a difference between striving for perfection and trying to be perfect. Striving for perfection is just knowing that that's the goal, and maybe even understanding that you won't be reaching it anytime soon. But then trying to be perfect is always trying to make sure you're at the point that is impossible.
Oh my God, yeah. Don't even get me started with that.
No, get started. Come on, I want to hear. What do you want to say?
It hits close to home because, dang, for a very long time, like I was trying to be perfect, even though I knew I was far from perfect. But it's because I was constantly being put in a box by society, and I was constantly trying to have to like break out of that box and break out of those stereotypes and barriers that were set.
Would you mind elaborating on that?
And I got exhausted. I guess,
like when you say like you got boxed.
I mean, there's so many different things.
Just say it.
But I will probably talk about, I don't know. I'll just leave it at that for right now. Good question, but I'm just going to leave it at that. I've always felt like I've been labeled and, you know, through society, friends and family to be like a certain type of way. And then as I started to strive for those kinds of things to try to meet whatever those expectations were, I started to realize that some of these expectations were not even set by other people. They were set by myself. Yeah. But I started blaming other people. I'm like, oh, the reason I'm doing this is because of other people's expectations. And then when I spiraled out of control and I had a breakdown, I had to like start tracing back my steps. And one of those was having a conversation with my parents about certain things. And they were so confused with my train of thought, because they're like, wait, what? We like never expected you to do all these things. Like we just wanted you to finish high school and get a job and like have a stable life. Like all the other stuff is like the cherry on top. So I, you know, was doing all these different things to try to please and to try to make my parents proud. But I spiraled out of control. And when I had that conversation with them, I had like such a sign of relief that all they wanted for me in life was to be happy.
I think you said it. It's funny because you like kind of focused on the main thing that was kind of like the precipice, like not the precipice, but like the initial kind of start of that. But I would blame that 100% on that, which is your parents. Mm-hmm. Like as a parent, you have an immeasurable amount of influence on your kid. The way you react to what they're doing, whether it's right or wrong,
this
that's
is
irrelevant.
Me clapping,
Thank
like
you.
Super loud.
Thank you.
Yay! No, you're right.
Yeah.
I can't imagine the pressure you have as a parent, because
it's okay. Look, so your mom, you said your parents reacted to you, right? What they were like, I didn't expect that from you, right? They're over here talking to you. But how are they talking to you? You know what I mean? Are they talking to you as their son? Are they talking to you as their individual, or as an individual, or are they talking to you as a person? You know? Mm-hmm. And that's where your parents, like, I don't mean to call them out, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, but I will tell anyone who's a parent, if you're talking to your child in a way that is anything other than an individual or a person, and they don't deserve anything, or they don't deserve your respect. Mm-hmm. And when I mean that, I mean like questioning and understanding, and be like, you know what, that's fine. Like if if you're making these decisions, I understand. I want to just understand as far as like why, and I want to just kind of discuss it with you. I'm not going to put you on this kind of altar of saying you were supposed to do all this and all that, and now you let me down, because they don't deserve that. They don't have that responsibility to keep you impressed or satisfied with what your expectations are of them. That's being selfish.
Yeah.
And so, again, I blame all of these issues that all these people go through, unfortunately, to their parents.
Dude, you struck a nerve, because I understand that our parents have a huge influence on us, right? And I love my parents so much. And the hard, like what you just said, is hard because I created this thought in my head, like, of these expectations. I mean, my parents were not like strict. They were not. They gave me a lot of free will.
Yeah.
It was weird because you were saying that, like, our parents, right? But like, honestly, I think I even held my parents to a certain standard, and I had to understand that, like, life to them is also simple. Like, we don't overcomplicate things. Like, they only know what they know. So like, I could not expect them to give me certain advice or guidance when I was out doing things in this world that they had probably never dreamt of. Like, I'm the first person to go to college in my immediate family. And so when I would struggle, when I was so far away, and I was like, I don't think I can do this. I don't think I can keep up. Like, it's just too much. Like, I'm not smart enough. I don't have like the financial stability to be here, all that sort of thing. And they're like, okay, well, like, just come back. Like, we're here for you. We're here for you. And I'm like, no, mom, like, I need you to tell me, like, to keep going. I need you to tell me, like, to push, not to give up. She wasn't telling me to give up. She just was trying to find a way to protect me and comfort me.
Yeah.
And I, like, appreciated that, but I'm like, no. Like, this is just me venting, and I'm going through like a tough thing right now, but I'm going to get over it. Right. But is it fair for us as children to not give our parents grace though? Like,
I mean, it goes both ways. It does. You have to look at everyone who, okay, like when I say have to, this is all from my perspective. This is all my opinion. These are basically the morals and kind of the algorithm to life that, or I don't know, I guess just like the way I understand it, that's been helpful to how I'm so at peace with just everything. Like, I'm just relaxed. I don't have too much to stress about. I don't have to worry about. And I go through a lot of things. Like, we go through problems. There's I go through fights, disagreements with my significant other, fights with my family. Like, it's all there. Fight with my dad. Like, it's not about what happens. It's about what you do after what happens. That's like the biggest differentiating factor that has to do with everything. So yeah, fight with your parents, do that. But if you can't recognize that you messed up, then that's going to define the rest of your, like, from that point on. So you bring up that good point. Like, is it up to us to kind of hold them to that standard, or kind of not give them grace, right? And that's the thing. You do. I would argue you do. They were raised a specific way. Who do you blame? Their mom? And who we blame them? Are we going to blame their parents and their parents? It's a never-ending cycle of blame. But you bring that good point, which is, I want to say I'm actually really impressed. And I want to say, up to a point, like, I admire also that you came up to that kind of understanding that you can't hold people up to those expectations or without that grace that you mentioned.
Dude, I had to learn the hard way. I had to learn the hard way because it was tormenting me. It was causing me. There was a sense of, like, good things that came from that for a while, because it was pushing me to strive for success. And I say this because everyone has their own definition of success. It was helping me reach, like, break certain barriers and hit certain accomplishments. But then at what cost was the issue, was like, at what cost? Like, I reached a point where I got burnt out, and I had a breakdown / like almost like a panic attack. And I just remember just going back home and just being in a fetal position and, like, covering myself and, like, just cornering myself, and this was later on. This was after, like, this was a few years into, like, maybe mid-20s. And I'm like, what? Like, you've been able to accomplish so much, and you're over here, like, in a fetal position? Like, And that's the first person I thought to call was like my mom afterwards, like after I had calmed myself down, because I was like, I don't even know what's going on anymore. Like I hit so many great milestones in my life and I still feel so empty inside.
Yeah.
So,
I think that has to do a lot with your isolation. I'm not gonna lie. You've mentioned that you don't really interact a lot with people or that you've kept yourself away from people. And even stemming from the topic of this, like the dysmorphia, that's isolation. That is your thoughts alone with yourself. And your thoughts alone with yourself are not kind. You're like you said before, you're the biggest critic of your own person. But it's not just in the nice Disney Channel way, you know? It's the I will make you do bad things to yourself, or I will make you look at yourself in a different way, because that's how the inner person in you, without reason, of course, is prone to thinking. Right. And when I say I feel like your isolation is what kind of crippled you, I mean that. You need to be with people. You need to talk to your parents. You need to consult with them when you have issues, like without even having to worry about showing that, like the soft spot of the belly, right? Showing that, what do you call that? You said it earlier.
vulnerability.
Yeah, vulnerability. A lot of people are so afraid of vulnerability. I personally don't understand why. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. We all bleed. We all cry. I take poops every morning. I'm pretty sure you take poops sometime during the day as well, right? Yeah. We're not a different person. We are essentially the same people with different upbringings, different memories, but we all suffer and can suffer the same way. We have that tape. So we need to consult with people. We need to talk to them, be open about what you're feeling. And I'm not going to lie, it also depends on how their input impacts you. Like some people don't know how to handle conversations. Some people don't know how to discuss because they're not used to that. But again, you don't blame them because they weren't brought up that way. So like I said, like it's isolation, man. Right. I feel like you should. I feel like I don't know your current state. Right?
Yeah, I was gonna say don't be assuming anything about my isolation. Just for clarity and timeline, yes, now I've been doing more isolation piece of it, but I felt like I had never done this type of isolation until after like the pandemic and COVID. I feel like that was like a setup, like for me to understand being like closed off, and then my job was just remote, so it was just at home. So yeah, I completely agree with you on the isolation part. And it brings me to this point, because here are some of the signs and symptoms of body dysmorphia. And you mentioned like isolation was one of them, but here are a few more. Let me know what you think about these. It says constantly checking yourself in the mirror, avoiding mirrors, trying to hide your body parts under like clothes or makeup or a scarf or a hat, constantly exercising or grooming, constantly comparing yourself with others, always asking other people whether you look okay, like seeking external validation. Do you think that kind of sums up some of the things that might be related to body dysmorphia?
I mean, if I'm not saying if you show any of those, you're immediately like you have body dysmorphia, but I feel like if it's excessive, right? Like consistently, be reasonably without a doubt that this guy is really preoccupied with how he's looking. I feel like it also has to do with understanding the actual motivation behind it. Like, are you looking at yourself because you like the way you look, or are you looking at yourself because you don't like the way you look and you're trying to make sure you look good? So those make sense, but people who look at themselves constantly in the mirror, they might like what they look.
Yeah, right.
And so that's excusable, right? Then you're a narcissist. At that point, that becomes a different kind of issue. I think it kind of sums that up, yeah.
Okay. Well, let's dive into it a little bit deeper, because you mentioned something earlier about vulnerability, right? And how you don't understand why people are not vulnerable, right? And I think not that women are, but because there's not a woman present, I rather give like more of a male perspective because of that. So I find from conversations I've had with other people about muscle dysmorphia. And so muscle dysmorphia is a subtype of body dysmorphia, and it's associated with the number of thoughts and beliefs about oneself and stuff. But it's about being masculine and being muscular. And then some of the things that it says here is like belief that one body is not sufficiently muscular or large enough, overvaluating appearance, negative thoughts about your body, let me just read a few more. Repeating, because this goes in deeper about like counting calories and like balancing carbohydrates, fats, proteins,
Yeah.
eating multiple meals through the day.
Like, would you consider that excessive?
Right.
Because I've seen people do that. Like, honestly.
Very, like, because this is the thing. It's like, how do you find the balance between like fitness and health, but it becoming an issue?
And okay, so specifically, you mentioned counting carbs, like calories, all of that stuff.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna lie, that seems like a lot of people do that, like nowadays.
Right.
Your question is that obsessive a compulsion?
Mm-hmm.
Is that over the top, or is that something that is that the question?
Yeah. Like it's a little bit of all of that because we do it in a health way, but I think some people justify it like, oh, I'm doing
okay.
it because of my like fitness.
Because I'm trying to
and
look
health.
good, yeah.
But it's
Or-
like
okay, yeah,
compulsion. It's like, hey, like
Yeah.
we also have to talk about the fact of the matter because
And you're counting really hard. That's
yeah,
a
like
lot of
that's
time
like weight one, and then like people will go and do the restroom or get on laxatives or even
to
this
try
one,
to
it
get
says,
into their points and stuff.
it says use of anabolic steroids, like people who use steroids for performance enhancing drugs.
Yeah.
The reason I'm so interested in all of this is because people go to the gym a lot
Yeah.
and it just, yes, it feels good and it releases endorphins and all of that.
Yeah.
And it's like an organic way to
Do you do
treat
that?
yourself. Do I do what?
Like count calories and stuff.
I'm conscious about it, but I don't like count them to the T.
Yeah, okay, so
But I have, if I'm being honest, I have like suppressed my appetite
yeah.
just because I'm like, man, if I eat that, I'm going to feel really guilty afterwards and I'm going to have to go to the gym. I'm going to have to do it. So
Yeah.
like consciously, I'm aware of it, but I don't think I'm like, I don't know where I'm at with it, but it is something that I'm conscious of.
Okay. Because like again, my opinion is that's obsessive, right?
Mhm.
It varies. It's not black and white, right? You
Right.
don't have if you're going to like try to win $1,000 because of like toning body, like whatever. I get it, kind of, but
Mhm.
even then, that can lead to the opportunity of dysmorphia, body dysmorphia, kind of taking place in your mind. But it has to do with your motivation or what is the purpose for you to go to the gym. Do you want to look better? Are you trying to look good? Are you trying to maintain a healthy lifestyle? Which one is it really? Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
It's very easy to see when people post it on Facebook, on
Mhm.
Instagram, wherever they on Snapchat. It's very easy to see what that motivation is. Very easy. And as much as people want to admit or not, we can have the debate later. Whether you posting constant gym selfies is
No, I want to have it right now.
Okay.
Just kidding.
Constant gym selfies is that no, I mean I'm down. Like
No, I'm kidding.
you don't do it often. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about like
I
you do
used
it.
to do it a lot on my
I used to see
Instagram.
that. I used to see that.
But I actually deactivated my Instagram for that reason, for a couple of reasons. But
yeah, but that was like one of the
it
one
was
of the
one
major
of the
points.
reasons.
Okay. But like it's because okay, so like I know at first it's the justification is I'm happy with my results and I'm trying to keep it updated. I'm trying to show off and I'm trying to explain, right? But the issue is you're focusing on that physical appearance, and before long you're going to have the comparative effect of trying to compare how you look now and how you look then and how do you look now and how do you look then, and you're chasing something again. Going back to the base of the conversation, you're chasing something that is unattainable in your mind, and inadvertently, subconsciously, you are setting yourself up for failure by consistently looking and seeking for approval because you're basing those uploads and you're reacting off of the feedback you get from the public, and without even knowing you're that's dopamine, man. You're getting that feedback rush. You're getting that, oh, people are liking this. I need to post more and I need to post more and I need to get bigger and better and more physical and more, you know what I mean? Like show off more. And you are feeding the beast.
Right. I think there's people who have this like transformation and it's just, I feel like the health industry has just changed so rapidly, so quickly. Like there's gyms like now everywhere and people are all about fitness. I think than maybe 5 or 10 years ago. Yes. Right. So we were in swimming together, dude, and like we didn't even think about it. We were just in swimming, and we just
were
had
looking good.
right? We didn't even think about it. It was just like, oh, And we've never been really like overweight. Like we've always just had like a good, decent body.
Yeah.
So it was never something that I had to think about.
Yeah.
It wasn't until I started getting older that my metabolism, I felt, started to slow down, and maybe my
Eating a donut
exercising,
would like.
you would see everything quickly, right? But I don't think I was educated enough to know how fitness works, how a healthy lifestyle works. Like I don't
Especially
diet
with the eating.
exactly. Like there was a lack of education with the food that I was eating, right?
And okay, it's kind of a separate topic, but to that point, the way the culture has normalized, like we mentioned in the other podcast, the portions. So like that
Right.
was normal. Like, well, why am I gaining weight if I'm just eating like I just ate once?
Yeah.
But you're eating for 4 people.
Right. Well, okay, so that's kind of where I'm also getting at is like, as I was learning all these things, I had to rewire my brain, had to reframe it. I started going to the gym for the health benefits of how it was making my body feel. And then I was like seeing these changes, but then I wasn't getting the results that I wanted fast enough, or they were, but I was like, how do you maintain it? Like it's a lot. That's what starts messing like with my mind.
For sure.
But I also start to think about people who go to the gym, right? And it's like, well, whatever, I look good. Like, let me be obsessed with how many calories I intake, and let me do whatever. Like, I'm my own fitness, like whatever. I'd rather be healthy than like be overweight. But then there's like stubborn belly fat or just cellulite that women or men get, like just all these different things. What are your thoughts on people being touched by an angel? And what I mean touched by an angel, I mean
What?
getting work done.
Oh man, I don't like that. I don't. It's my mom did that. Like I disagree with her. I'm like, dude, like you're don't act like you're like you. Everyone uses justifications. Everyone's trying to excuse.
Before we talk about
Yeah.
like a specific, let's keep it general because I don't want to put anybody on blast.
No,
with
not my
it.
mom. Not my mom. I'm just saying in general.
In
I'm
general,
speaking in
okay.
general.
Okay,
not
okay,
my mom. I'm
okay.
saying like I'm talking to the general person who would say what they would say, right?
Right.
It's a big alteration to your body, and it's permanent. It's kind of right if you whatever you could want to consider permanent, right? But it's permanent. You can't just take it off and take it on. So to criticize a permanent decision that someone made on themselves is very, not to mention controversial, but it will hit a chord on you on a level you wouldn't believe because it's not like they can take that off. You know?
I
Do
don't
you
know.
think? I mean, they wouldn't even admit that they messed up, even if they know they messed up or they did something wrong.
I'm gonna respectfully disagree to an extent, only because I don't know. I'm conflicted with this because I am all about people feeling empowered about how they look, right?
Yeah.
And becoming the best version of themselves. But there is who knows where that line is, because I've heard of horrific stories of people getting work done and it not going that way. But I've also heard of stories where
As soon as you said I disagree, I was like,
ready for
I'm
a debate.
interested. Yeah. Like in debating, yeah.
Right. Well, this
gotta
is why I
calm down. I gotta calm
disagree.
down.
Well, this is why I disagree, because I think that there's people
Mhm.
who, first of all, they have the resources to do it, right? And if it's something that they want to enhance and it's something that's made them self-conscious like their whole life, and they just want to enhance something about themselves or fix something about themselves, why not? Like, why not? And before you give me that, one last thing is, what do you think like the culture has had influence on? Like, is it those people's fault though, or is it like the culture and how they put it in your face and
man.
make you feel like you're less than, and that's why you need to get this work done?
Look, everything is simple. We make it complicated. People who want to find excuses and justifications make the world complicated, because that question you said, where's the line? The line is there. You don't want to admit it, so you make it blurry, and then you start asking, once that you blurred the line, then you ask, well, what does it start and when does it end? When does it end? After you intentionally blurred the line. You know what I mean? First. Second, you said, who is it? The people or the culture? People are the culture. That is the same people. Like, I'm sorry. The line is, you're doing something to make yourself feel better. What's the motivation? It's your personal look for your personal gain, for your personal selfish kind of like satisfaction, which again will never be attainable. So that's the line. And I'm telling you, like I can tell you, it hits to home. It's not like my family's perfect and I don't.
Right.
My mom did that, and I told her, Mom, you are doing that to satisfy your personal desires. And I get it. Like she's like, it's not like she gets them bigger all the time and whatnot. She got her boobs done. Okay.
Okay. I mean, and a lot of women do that because
Yeah.
they have kids afterwards.
Yes, and I
Their
understand.
their body changes and they get the tummy tuck or they
To
get
tighten it up.
whatever.
Yeah.
Right. I'm like, there's nothing
Like, I
wrong
get
with
it.
doing it for.
Yeah.
I think it's people's choice at the end of the day. I also just understand why some people get enhancements done on their body.
And it's true. Like, okay, again, going back to it's not black and white. It's not like, oh, you're doing bad or good. I'm not saying that. What I am saying that it's a very slippery slope. And the moment you start trying to chase that, it's very easy to fall into that recurring, overwhelming. Like I've seen people who have bodies done and it gets excessive.
Right.
Like it's obvious that that's not natural.
Because you just want more, you want more, you want more.
Or you want bigger or more, or you're trying to get satisfaction from the opposite sex. But again, you're feeding into that culture that is not beneficial to yourself and anyone else. Well, I mean, maybe for the sexual desires immediately, for immediate gratification, right? But that's it.
Right. Dude, here's something that's been on my mind for a really long time, but I've never actually said it like publicly. Is people that get the gastro bypass surgery, or I don't know the exact terminology for it, but they make their stomach smaller.
Like a clip type. Like
there's different types of things, but I'm talking about, there's different types.
It's like
I'm
to lose
talking
weight.
about, the one where they like make your stomach smaller is kind of what I've heard. And it causes you to like fill up. So you only eat a small portion. So over time, you start losing lots of weight because you feel full afterwards. And I've seen like so many great transformations of people from doing that surgery and losing weight. But here's what I always think of, because I love psychology. Huh?
So hot take.
Hot take?
Hot take. Is it?
Well, okay, because like people will do that and they'll lose weight. But over time, if you didn't address the reason it was all started in the beginning, you're going to bounce. Clap louder.
That's it.
Clap it. If you don't address it at the beginning, oh my God. It's too loud. If you don't address it at the beginning, it's just you're going to bounce back.
Yeah.
And that's applies to everything. It's a basic principle. It's like, if you don't address the root of the problem, it's it's too loud.
I know.
Is that you're going to bounce back, right? So my concern with people who do that is, are you seeking the professional help? Because I think it's just as important if you're making a physical enhancement or altering something, right? And you're not like really addressing the problem psychologically. Like when you look at yourself in the mirror, because I just think of putting myself in that situation. If I were to get something like that, I would feel like I would still see the same person. Like I feel like I would be seeing the same person. Like just because my body looks different, in my mind, I've always been this person. Like that dramatic change, I think could really have some long-term effects.
I agree. I mean, your body, right? Very lean. You look healthy. You look like you wouldn't be hurt by sickness, right? It's not just you look good, bro, like 10 out of 10. No, you look healthy. Like you look like a strong, if I needed someone to run and help me carry 50 pounds of gear somewhere, I would call Michael because he could help me out. But to get to that point, what did it take? It's discipline. And that discipline isn't physical. That discipline is a mental capacity.
Right.
And having that physical discipline or the exercise and consistency, that affects the way you think about everything. So yeah, you're right. If you get the thing, it works. Obviously, it's gonna work. It's science, bro. Like it's gonna work. But you're not tackling what the problem with obesity and overweightness is. It's not that you're fat. We can suck that off every 6 months if you want. We'll put a tube in the back for a drainage hole if you need. But that's not what we're tackling. We're tackling the mindset behind it. The I want more, the excessive, the I don't have there's no moderation with my food, with my mindset. There's no consistency. There's not discipline. And anyone who's went from size whatever to a really small size or super big to super small, the natural, exercise way, eating healthy will be a testament to that. Without even any doubt, I can say that they'll say, yes, it has changed the way I think about life and look at life, and the way I it affects everything. It's not just my fitness.
Yeah, I agree. Well, I think you've brought up a lot of good points, and I just kind of want to give like my side of why I wanted to talk about it and what I think. Like, dude, I'm hitting almost 30, and I've come to a point in my life
Damn.
where I really like
How old are you?
almost 30.
Oh shit.
And
I'm
dude,
I'm 26.
Hey, shut up. We're the same age. Dude, but
Why are you putting my stuff out there?
I'm just very content with where I'm at. I wasn't before. Like if you asked me or like a few years back, I would tell you, dude, there's so much. But right now, I'm enjoying my journey. I'm enjoying my process. And the reason I'm having this conversation is because I was in like those dark places before. But in order for me to have like been able to get out of it, I was like, I have to take one step at a time, like one day at a time. I used to start going to the gym, right? And I was an evening guy and I would go in the evening. And then I'm like, you know what? I want to change my frame of thinking. I want to change all these different things. I want to work on myself. And it made sense for me to change my schedule and go to the gym in the morning. So I've been going to the gym the last year and a half at 5 a.m. And it just has changed my life, not just physically, but like mentally and in so many different ways. I feel so productive. I feel like I accomplished something at the beginning of the day. It's like a check, right? Yeah. I'm just striving to be like a better version of myself, right? And the reason I was talking about the body dysmorphia thing and the people that I know, because I just want people to truly be content with themselves, whatever the definition of that is, as long as it's in moderation. Like if you are working out and you are eating or you are calorie your count, like do it in moderation. Same. If you are happy being chunky, then go for it. Like I'm all about curvilicious people. Like I love a good curve.
Until disease and illness sets in.
With moderation. Like, hey, if I'm saying like, if you like food and you like going to town on tacos and burgers and all the good, delicious food.
Yeah.
With moderation.
Yes.
With moderation.
It's all discipline.
Like you don't have to be like what the media and what social media is portraying. Like there's everybody, people are so beautiful and they're so unique. And I think that's like the beauty of life is that there's so many different perspectives. There's so many different body types. And I'm all about owning that. Like own it. Just be conscious of like those decisions. And if you are going to intake in any of those types of things, whether you're on the spectrum of like super lean to like heavy or whatever it is, it doesn't matter as long as you're content with what you're trying to accomplish in your life and that it makes you happy and that you're healthy, period.
Okay. That sounds good. That makes sense. I want to say something to fat people too.
My message was to a broad audience, but go ahead.
No, dude, like, come on. Like, I a lot of people are overweight, obese, whatever, fat people, right?
What about the skinny people?
The skinny people too. Like, look, okay, this is like general. You're right, actually, for everyone. Do it for
what
the right.
What do you have against people who,
like, for who against fat people?
Yeah.
No, I don't. I don't have anything against fat people.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, they're fat. They're just fat. Like,
but what about really skinny people who are obsessed with like
them too?
Weight?
Really skinny people. Ugh. Like, I don't know. I know it's because fat has a connotation to it, like a negative connotation. So I understand why the like hesitance of, oh, you said the F word. It's like really bad. That's another F word.
That's another F word. What's up with you in the F words? No, it's because I've also seen people who go to the gym excessively, where you could tell like you look good, like but. I'm telling you,
chill.
It's body like this
I
know.
Thing
of trying to obtain something.
Fat is a funny word, isn't it? Like when in the context, kind of.
Yeah,
because it's like
PHAT.
No, like. Well, I mean,
I know. I'm kidding.
Like if you say a fat person, it's a word, but it's so silly, you know.
Yeah.
But if you say overweight or obese, you're like, oh,
I don't
that's
think
serious.
It's silly, but
not silly, but it'd be like.
Whatever.
But because it's not proper terminology. That's why. And I apologize, like straight up. Obese, overweight. Okay. But this is just a general thing. Look, if you are obese, if you are too skinny,
or if you're right in the middle.
Or if you're right. No, just specifically for those who, well, actually, this is more for people who are overweight or over obese.
Okay.
Like skinny is like a separate topic. Like I feel like it's that's another thing.
Body dysmorphia does not discriminate.
Yes, but I'm trying to do a specific message to obese people because you said
get
like
your
eat what
message
you want.
out.
You said eat what you want and just
I
like
was
moderation.
just giving my opinion. Now
Yeah.
you give yours.
Yeah, and I'm saying you need to stop. You need to relax, okay? That comes from
Fuck it up. Eat it up.
that comes from an underlying kind of dissatisfaction by filling in a hole that needs to be filled. You can do it. You can. I know it feels like it's the hardest thing in the world, but it's not about how you look. That's the last thing you should be concerned about. It's not about you being fat. It's about how healthy you are. It's about who you will be in the next 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. How long will you last? Your longevity. Now, whether you care about that or not, that's another separate topic. But you need to ask about is like, who cares about you? That's the question. It's not about you. It's never about you. It's not about you being selfish and you wanting to look good. It's about you being the best person you can be as much as possible so that other people can enjoy you as much as possible. So get to it. Get it done.
Yes.
Work at it. Like,
get her
do
done.
not. Yeah, get her done.
Get it done.
Don't give yourself excuses. It starts with little steps at a time.
Yes.
But even if you're just walking outside 30 minutes a day in the sun, that's where it starts. I've seen people in the park, dude. Some big dude started running, and I was like, damn. But not in that sense. I was like, dude, I felt so happy for him. I was like, that is awesome.
Dude, I love seeing people at the park, at the gym, like getting the workout in. Like it makes me so
And
happy
they're not
to
in like
see
the
people.
shape, but you're like, they're doing it. Do
I just
it.
love everybody who goes to the gym and who
Yes.
goes to exercise, because to me, that shows that not that you don't care if you don't do that, but I think that you're showing more initiative if you are taking accountability and you're exercising, because our bodies need exercise. Awesome, Victor. Well, I think that was a really good topic and episode.
That was actually very nice. That was good. That was a deep conversation.
It was good.
But like that kind of goes to show that nothing is kind of isolated. It's not just body dysmorphia. It goes with a lot of other things. And if we all are open to that, I think it's a better topic to understand, easier to understand.
Absolutely. Awesome.
Next time, what do you we'll be kind of discussing next time. Something fun, hopefully. I don't know.
Yeah, something fun.
Yeah, something fun. We'll try to sprinkle it in. I know sometimes these conversations get like, oh my God, they're so boring. But I at least try to meet it with good intention.
Absolutely.
With
I agree.
good intention.
Cool. So where do they go watch the full episode, and like where can they find us to keep like getting more content from us?
YouTube. Find us on the YouTube.
To watch the full video, right?
Full episodes, full things. You can find the snippets, right? I'm trying to see if we can start a separate channel just with the shorter kind of like more digress, 3 minute, 4 minute, 5 minutes, something that's easier to digest in case you're interested, but
Cool.
We'll see. And then of course, I'm trying also, I wanted to see if you're going to be consistent or if you're going to dip again before I start investing more. But I'm going to get back the
No, go ahead. I'm just thinking about how the last 3 times I was ready, but
I know,
it's been
I
3
know.
weeks,
I'm sorry.
so that was on
I
you.
kept rescheduling out Michael. Okay, I'm
But
sorry.
anyways,
I'm
cool.
calling myself out. We're
Good.
gonna get back on Spotify, on the actual podcast like listening apps, like
Awesome.
strictly just where you want to listen into just the voice.
Okay. Sounds good. Guys, go catch us on YouTube. We're on Instagram, TikTok,
Soon
and
to be
Facebook,
Spotify.
and soon to be Spotify. And DM us with any topics, any feedback, leave your comments, do all that, and just let us know how we're doing and what
we
you
love
want to hear from
feedback.
us.
We love it.
Sounds good. Okay. Signing off.
Later, guys. It was fun.